Internazionale seem to be in a one-horse race for the title over in Italy as they open up a 4-point gap over the nearest and dearest Juventus. But what will go on this weekend? We're going to take a little look. And then... That's right, back once again with another prediction video. Today we look forward to match number 24, that's right, over in Italy. And we'll get to that in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button, your one-stop shop for the Italian League continues, as well as coverage of Blackburn Rovers and world football right here under one roof. Of course, the race for the Champions League is also on, as Roma are right back in the thick of things, of course, under their new regime. Can they close in? In fact, can they break in to the top four? We'll take a look at it all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, you know who you are. And again, if you do, make sure you're subscribed. A whopping 75% of you are not subscribed. So let's get into it, of course, and look forward to these games. But before that, we're going to recap the last round of games, see how I did, then, of course, see how you guys did, with, of course, the Superbreo, which is back in full kilt. So, I believe this is right. Let me check if this is right. Of course, as Lecce, unsurprising, 3-2 winners over Fiorentina, of course. What a big win that was for them, of course, struggling towards the bottom end of it. I went with the 2-0 win for Fiorentina and Paoli. Genoa 0-0 draw in the end. So the real deal's on the right. My predictions are on the left. I went with the draw myself. Udinese and Monza 0-0 draw in the end. 2-1 win for me. Not that one. I didn't get that one either. Meanwhile, AC Milan with a 3-2 away win over Frosinone. I went with a 2-0 win. Not too shabby. Bologna 4-2 win over Sassuolo. Of course, I went with a 1-0 win myself. Torino with a 0-0 draw at Salernitana. 2-1 win was my pick. Napoli with a 2-1 win over Verona. 2-0 win in my eyes. Atalanta 3-1 win over Lazio. I went with a 2-2 on that one. And Inter with a 1-0 win over Juve. I also won with a 2-2. And then wrap it up, run with a big 4-0 demolition job of Cagliari. 2-1 win in my eyes, of course. Those were my picks. What about, of course, the state of play in the table? Well, it looks like this right here, right now. Inter are top of the table with 57 points right now. Juventus are in second, with AC Milan are in third. And then Atalanta are fourth, with Roma breathing down the next. Bologna ain't out of it either. Neither are Napoli. Maybe even all the way down as far as Lazio to compete for those top four, maybe Europa League spots, whatever you have. Those, of course, the state of play right there. But what about, of course, the state of play in the Superbreo? Well, let's get into it and have a look at that then, shall we? Of course, I'm not in it anymore. I've quit. I've resigned. But, of course, still here and still representing the team. Costas K with 16 points this past week. Well done to you. Raymond Reddington with 14.5. Football Aces with 12. Summer 2018. And 37 with 10.5. If you see your name in there, make sure you bang the old subscribe. Of course, we're back in full glory. Daddy Call with a wooden spoon. I'll be back next year because I was going to win this one anyway, you know what I mean? It was too good. Costas K kicking ass and taking names, 250.5 points so far throughout the campaign. Vinny Hong there with second, 240. Barcelonista in third and 37 in fourth. They, of course, non-movers. Raymond Reddington, big mover, up one spot to number 5 right now. Of course, it's still wide open. Anyone's guess as to who's going to come out top. You just need one perfect week, and then you're right back in the thick of things, of course. So those are, of course, the state of play in the Superbreo. But, of course, we're looking forward to those next round of games, which are vastly coming upon us, of course. So let's get into those games then, shall we? Looking forward to it. Are we? I am. Because we're going to jump right in the deep end with Salernitana against Paoli. But before all that, is there any other? No, that's it. We're going to jump straight into it. Of course, there was no special announcement on this one. Salernitana against Paoli. So, of course, locking horns on Friday, February the 9th. Be with you. That's right. Played each other 25 times in 1998. 6 wins for Salernitana, 12 wins for Paoli. 7 draws, of course, the biggest win for the hosts. 3-0 win, scoring 28 goals in those 25 matches. 1.12 goals a game. Of course, Paoli with a 5-0 win, scoring 44 goals in total, 1.76 goals a game as well. They're on at 42% form are Paoli right now, just 1 win in 6th and 18th with 18 points on the board as well. Salernitana, 8% form for them right now, 20 for the table, 13 points on the board. Of course, haven't won in the last 6 matches. These two sides last played each other at Salernitana at the Stadio Arecci. It was a 2-2 draw back in September 2022. But the bookies on this one do have Salernitana 29-20 for the Ricci, 90-10 and Paoli 9-4 is the draw. It's quite tight across the bookies there. I'm going to go with also with a 0-0 draw on this one. No one's going to come out on top in my eyes. Cagliari against Lazio, of course. Cagliari under Ranieri, Lazio under Sarri, of course, former Chelsea coaches, locking on to the Unipol Dumas. Played there 49 times since 1993. We've got 8 wins for Cagliari, 29 wins for Lazio, 12 draws, of course, the biggest win for Cagliari. 4-1 win, scored 41 goals in 49 matches, 0.84 goals a game. Lazio, though, 4-0 win, their biggest, scoring 84 goals in 49 matches, 1.71 goals a game. Lazio on 58% form for them. them at the moment, without a win in the last 3. They're 8th in the table with 34 points on the board. Cagliari, though, a 25% form for them, just 1 win in 6. They're in 19th right now, 18 points on the board as well. Now, these two sides last locked horns. In Cagliari was a 3-0 win for Lazio back in March 2022. They're, of course, unbeaten against Cagliari over at least the last 6 matches. Of course, 12-5 is your host here. 12-5 is the draw. 11-10 is, of course, your Roma here. That's Lazio, sorry. Lazio here. I'm going to go with a win for the victors here. 2-1 win, taking the points and moving the chains. Meanwhile, in the other half of Roma, is Roma up against Internazionale, one of the games of the round at the Stadio Olimpico. Now, these two sides have locked horns 80 times since 1993. We've got 21 wins for Roma, 34 wins for Inter, 25 draws as well. Roma, 4-0 win, their biggest, scored 117 goals in 18 matches, 1.46 goals a game. Inter, though, 4-0 win, also their biggest, 141 goals scored in those 80 matches, 1.76 goals a game. They've won at least 6 games in a row, into 100% form for them. They are top of the table with 57 points on the board. However, Daniel De Rossi coming in for Roma, winning 4 in the bounce, 6-7% form for them right now, 5th of the table, 38 points on the board as well. Last time around, though, over in Roma, it was a 2-0 win for Inter back in May 2023. Inter, of course, back-to-back wins over Roma so far, but one of those was last season. The odds here for this one, 3-1 is your Roma, 11-10 on is your Inter, and 5-2 is your draw. I'm leaning towards Roma with of course, Red Hot Rossi right now, Red Hot Roma, but of course I'm going to go with the play safe with a draw on this one, 2-2 in my eyes, but I would favour Roma at the moment with the way they're playing. Meanwhile, Sassuolo against Torino, coming at you over in the MyPie Stadium, played each other 29 times since the year 2009, 6 wins for Sassuolo, 13 wins for Torino, 10 draws, of course, the biggest win for the hosts here, 3-1 win, scored 33 goals in 29 matches, 1.14 goals a game. Torino, 3-0 win, their biggest, 46 goals scored in 29 matches, 1.59 goals a game. Of course, Torino on 58% form for them at the moment, just 1 defeat in the last 6, of course. 10th at the table with 32 points on the board. Up against the South Studio side, 33% form for them right now, 2 wins in the last 6. They are 15th with 19 points on the board, as it was quite tight down towards the bottom end here. Of course, last time around over at South Studio, it was a 1-1 draw back in April 2023. The odds for this one, South Studio 11-5 for the victory, 23-10 is the draw, 6-5 is your away win. That's Torino. I'm going to go with a draw here, point apiece, leaning towards Torino, but I'm going to go with a level pegger right here in my eyes. Fiorentina against Frosinone in the Battle of the Fs on Sunday, February the 11th. Now, these two sides played each other 5 times in 2015, 1 win apiece, and 3 draws. Of course, the biggest win, the only win for Fiorentina, 4-1 win. In fact, they've only scored 6 goals in those 5 games, 1.20 goals a game. Frosinone, though, one and only win, was a 1-0 win. They've scored 4 goals in those 5 games, 0.80 goals a game. They're on 25% form at the moment, are Frosinone, 14th at the table with 23 points on the board. Up against the Fiorentina side, also on 25% form for them right now, just 1 win in the last 6. They are 9th with 34 points on the board. These two sides last lock horns over at the Stadio Arietemo Franchi. It was a 1-0 win for Frosinone back in April 2019, but the odds here, 2-1 on is your Fiorentina, 11-2 is your Frosinone, 16-5 is, of course, the draw. We are backing a home victor here. 2-1 win for them, tight one, but enough in the tank to get over the line. Meanwhile, Bologna against Lecce coming at you also on Sunday, February the 11th. Now, these two sides have played each other 27 times since 1987, 13 wins for Bologna, 3 wins for Lecce, 11 draws. Of course, Bologna, 2-0 win, their biggest, scoring 38 goals in 27 matches, 1.41 goals a game. Lecce, of course, 2-0 win, their biggest, scoring 24 goals in 27 matches, 0.89 goals a game. They're on 25% form, are Lecce right now, 13th in the table with 24 points on the board. Against Bologna side, just 1 win in 6, 33% form for them right now. They are 6th with 36 points on the board as well. Last time around, they're over at the Renato Diaria. It was a 2-0 win for Bologna back in October 2022. They're actually unbeaten against Lecce over the last 6, picking up 4 wins and a couple of draws as well. The odds here for this one, 10-7 on, is your host here, 13-5 is the draw, 4-1 your long shots. That's Lecce. We're back in a home win, 1-0 win. Bologna on this one. Kicking off forward is Monza. That's right, against Verona on Sunday, the 11th of Feb as well. Played each other 13 times in 1987. 4 wins for Bologna, 6 wins for Verona, and 3 draws. Of course, the biggest win for Monza, 5-1 win, scoring 18 goals in those 13 games, 1.38 goals a game. Verona, those 5-1 win, also their biggest, scoring 19 goals in those 13 games, 1.46 goals a game. They're, of course, on 25% form of Verona right now, just 1 win in 6, 17th at the table with 18 points on the board. Up against the Monza side, 11th in the table with 29 points on the board. They are 50% form for them, winning 2, losing 2, and drawing 2 over the last 6. Now, these two sides last played at the Stadio Briatano. It was a 2-0 win, that's right, way back from Monza back in November 2022. The odds for this one, 21-20 is your Monza, 11-4 is your Verona, 11-5 is the draw here. Back in Monza with a 2-1 win. 3 points in the bag, and up the ladder they go. Into the final three now is Genoa against Atalanta, of course, coming at you over at the Luigi Ferraris. They played each other 37 times since 1993. 10 wins to Verona, 16 wins to Atalanta, 11 draws, of course. Genoa, 4-1 win, the biggest score, 41 goals in 37 games, 1.11 goals a game. Atalanta on 5-0 win, their biggest, 53 goals scored in 37 games, 1.43 goals a game. The visitors, Atalanta, on 92% form for them right now, unbeaten in the last at least 7 games, 92% form for them over the last 6, fourth in the table with 39 points on the board. Up against the Genoa side, 12th in the table, 29 points, of course, on the board, 67% form for them right now, and at least unbeaten in the last 6 games as well. A lot of draws knocking around for the hosts, though. The last time around, though, over at the Luigi Ferraris, it was a 0-0 draw back in December 2021. The odds for this one, 12-5 is Genoa, 12-5 is the draw, 11-10 is Atalanta on this one, who are looking good at the moment. 2-0 win for the visitors, in my eyes. Then, of course, we have another zing-zong affair. It's AC Milan against Napoli, coming at you over the Giuseppe Meazza. They played each other 48 times since 1993. We've got 15 wins for Milan, 15 wins for Napoli, 18 draws, of course. The biggest win for Milan was a 4-0 win. They scored 58 goals in 48 matches, 1.21 goals a game. Napoli, though, 4-0 win, their biggest, 56 goals in 48 games, 1.17 goals a game. Napoli on 58% form for them right now, just 1 defeat in the last 5. They are 7th in the table, 35 points on the board. Up against a Milan side, 75% form for them right now, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Of course, 3rd in the table with 49 points on the board as well. Last time around, though, over at the Giuseppe Meazza, it was a 1-0 win for Milan. That was back in April 2023 in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The last time they played each other in the league, though, it was a 2-1 win for Napoli back in September 2022. Of course, the odds here for this one, 11-10 on is your Milan. Of course, they are hot favourites. 5-2 is draw. 3-1 is, of course, your Napoli on this one. Napoli are not the same team than they were last year, of course. Going to go with a 3-1 win for Milan, taking the points, and, of course, closing in on the top 2, of course. And then wrapping up, it's Juventus, it's Udinese. It's, of course, Monday, the 12th of Feb. Played each other 58 times in 1994. We've got 41 wins for Juventus, 9 for Udinese. 8 draws, of course. The biggest win for Juventus, 4-0 win, 112 goals scored in those 58 games, 1.19 and 1.93 goals a game. Up against the Udinese side, 3-0 win, the biggest, 41 goals scored in 58 games, 0.71 goals a game. Udinese on 33% form for them at the moment, without a win in 5, 60 for the table with just 19 points on the board. Against the Juventus side, who are second, 53 points on the board, 75% form for them right now. Back-to-back games, though, without a win. But they come into this with a win last time around, 1-0 win at the Allianz Arena, back, of course, in January 2022. The odds here for this one, 5-2 on is, of course, is Juventus, 7-2 is the draw, 7-1 is your long shots. That's, of course, Udinese. We're going to go with a home win here, 2-0 win for Juventus, and that should take their biscuit, guys. That's, of course, my picks, and, of course, if I'm right, this is what the table will look like at the end of it. It'll be Inter, top of the table, with, of course, 2-point clearance over Juventus. They do have a game in hand, of course. Milan in 3rd, closing in on them a little bit, and Atalanta as well. Going down, Verona, Cagliari, and Salernitana in a very, very tight relegation contest here. 15th all the way down to 20th are in that dogfight right now. But, of course, don't keep your eye on Frosinone and Lecce. They could get sucked into it as well. Those are my picks. Of course, the link to the Superbreo is in the chat or in the conversation down below. But, of course, we'll see you soon for the next round of games, whenever they are. But until then, we're donezoed.